From the Clone Wars, to the banks of Mustafar's lava river, to Tatooine, and even Cloud City, the lightsaber that originally belonged to Anakin Skywalker had quite the journey in the prequel and original trilogies, ultimately coming into the possession of Luke through Obi-Wan. But even after Anakin's fall to become Darth Vader, the Sith Lord would come face to face with his former lightsaber, and therefore, it must be asked, did Vader ever realize that the lightsaber used by Luke was that formerly created by Anakin? In this video expose, we'll answer this question and look at how Vader recognized Luke had Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber as it occurred both in the former Legends materials and within the current canon. Let's start with the Legends version of events. The interesting aspect to the Legends version of this question is that the events themselves that would see Vader discover the true origins of Luke's lightsaber were detailed in the 1978 novel Splinter of the Mind's Eye. But the point of view of Vader as it relates to his realization that Luke had Anakin's lightsaber wasn't provided until 30 years later in The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader. 2 years after the destruction of the Death Star, an Imperial governor notified Vader that 2 individuals matching the description of Luke and Leia were captured on the planet of Mimban. Vader was pleased, as he could capture them on Mimban, but also obtain a gem of legend known as the Kyber Crystal, which magnified the Force. However, by the time Vader arrived, Luke and Leia escaped and fled into the jungle. But eventually, Vader caught up to them, confronting the 2 rebels at a temple built for an ancient Mimban deity. Immediately, Vader used the Force to drop a stone from the temple ceiling on Luke, pinning him to the floor. Initially, Vader intended to capture both rebels, knowing his strong connection with Luke, but he then lost the self-control he originally had, focused solely on killing Luke and Leia. But as Luke was still pinned to the floor, Leia picked up his lightsaber, the former weapon of Anakin Skywalker, and confronted the Sith Lord with it. Despite her lack of lightsaber training, Vader was surprised Leia fought bravely, but quickly, it became clear she was no match for Vader. With her final bit of energy, she threw the lightsaber to Luke, who finally emerged from the rubble to carry on the duel. Although Vader was the far more experienced duelist, he was pushed to his limit trying to keep up with his younger opponent, fighting through the temple and eventually entering a chamber containing a large pit. However, the temple's Kyber Crystal provided Vader with a sudden surge of energy through the dark side. Because of this enhancement from the crystal, Vader was able to use an ability known as Kinetite, a variation of Force Lightning, sending Force-energized lightning at Luke. Luke deflected the attack, causing the shocked Sith Lord to feel his energy again begin to subside. At this point, Luke attacked Vader, bringing his lightsaber down hard and cutting through the Sith Lord's cybernetic right arm, causing Vader's weapon to fall to the ground, still clutched within his prosthetic fist. Vader, thrown into a daze, bent down to regain his weapon from his severed arm. As he turned to continue the duel, it was then that Vader finally truly noticed the lightsaber in Luke's hand, noting both the weapon's design and hilt looked strangely familiar. Although Vader tried to move closer, the combination of his daze and his tripping over his own severed arm caused him to stumble into the pit within the chamber. But as Vader descended downward, he could only think of one thing. He knew the lightsaber he just saw in Luke's hand was the lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker, the weapon he hadn't seen since Obi-Wan took it from him following their duel on Mustafar. The memories of his defeat on Mustafar, combined with his lost opportunity with Luke, caused Vader's rage to overcome him, unleashing it in an anger-fueled scream until he landed upon the rocks below. But as he regained consciousness, there was no mistaking it. He just saw the lightsaber of Anakin Skywalker. In canon, Vader makes the discovery that Luke had the lightsaber of Anakin much earlier. Instead of 2 years, Vader would recognize Anakin's lightsaber in the immediate aftermath of the Battle of Yavin, when the rebellion attacked an Imperial weapons factory on Cymoon 1, attempting to prevent the Empire from increasing its industrial capacity to replace the losses suffered on the Death Star. As Luke, Leia, and Han infiltrated the factory, they would eventually get separated as Luke sensed the presence of Darth Vader, breaking off from the main group to avenge Obi-Wan, and as Luke believed, his father. Although the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan implored Luke to run, he refused, ultimately coming face to face with Vader himself. Here, Vader would first make note of Luke's lightsaber, not yet its connection to Anakin, but that Luke held it like someone who didn't know how to use it. When Vader asked who Luke was, Luke ignored the question and responded by telling Vader he killed his father. While Vader needed more specifics, having killed many fathers, Luke couldn't contain himself any longer and charged the Sith Lord. As their lightsabers crashed together, Vader simply pushed Luke to the ground, taunting the rebel for his pathetic plan to confront him. As Luke explained, he was there to get his revenge for Obi-Wan. Vader simply used the Force to take the lightsaber away from Luke, noting the Jedi Master had given it to the boy, but failed to teach him how to properly use it. Vader then gave Luke a decision. He could either tell Vader everything he knew about the rebellion and the location of the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, or die like his father did. When Luke responded he'd rather die than betray the rebellion, Vader proceeded with the second option, raising both lightsabers to strike the boy down. However, it was at this point, with the lightsaber right in front of him, that Vader stopped and recognized he had seen Luke's lightsaber before. Although he wasn't able to finish the sentence before the duel was interrupted by an AT-AT that crashed through the ceiling, Vader clearly noted the lightsaber had once belonged to Anakin Skywalker. While Vader would use the lightsaber to go on a rampage against the rebels that attacked the factory, Luke was eventually able to regain it and take it with him as the rebels departed Cymoon 1. But just as within the Legends version, Vader made no mistake in recognizing that Luke had obtained the weapon that had previously been used by Anakin Skywalker. So there we have it, how Vader realized Luke had Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber in both Legends and canon. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me, for Kyber crystals.